Gender theory and feminist theory are rather similar in that gender theory explores the role of men and women, or the role of gender in society, while feminist theory falls under the more general umbrella of gender theory. It focuses in on how society portrays the patriarchy through literature or through an author's point of view. This can be shown through weak female characters or segregation of men and women within society. As I mentioned, feminist theory falls under the umbrella of gender theory. It encompasses, instead of focusing on gender roles and how they're portrayed through literature, it zeroes in on how the patriarchy is portrayed through literature and how the oppression of women is shown rather than their general stereotypical roles within society. This is evident through weak female characters, or in Heart of Darkness, a lack of female characters, at least mentioned by names, in an entirety. And also apparent through Heart of Darkness is the segregation of female society from male society.
The feminist theory is part of the overarching gender theory, but a major difference between the two schools of thought is the focus on sexual identity, whether it be male, female, transgender, or any other identity, and how that defines and shapes the literary work.
Our sexual identity is such a huge part of what makes us human. The internalization of our sexuality as male or female really impacts the way we view the world and our overall train of thoughts.
There is a large dominance of males in literature. The large lack of female writers stems from histories of neglective treatment towards women educationally, socially, and economically.
Masculinity is embedded in most literature, especially Heart of Darkness, where the nameless women are protected and kept in a naive world. This masculine approach in writing reflects much of the Western patriarchal society. Gender theory looks at how sexual identity influences the story and ultimately how it influences the reader. Gender criticism attempts to analyze the female and male aspects in novels and their societal impacts through characters, plot, symbols, motifs, etc. within literature.
While men in literature are often viewed as masculine and powerful, women are often stereotyped, put into two categories.
Male authors lack the vision to make women in literature more realistic. They assign stereotypical roles to them, for example, the angelic mother who cleans and cooks and prepares the food, or the evil seductress.
Interesting way of applying feminist or gender criticism to Heart of Darkness is by examining Marlowe's view on women versus Conrad's. Marlowe has some rather misogynistic ideas about women, particularly in the beginning of the story. He's portrayed as the enlightened one, yet on several occasions he makes comments about women, placing them in sort of a separate world. He says that women are fragile and their innocence must be protected by referencing a separate and sort of idealistic world that women live in. And a quote on that is coming later. He also is shocked that women could be useful in real work. When he speaks about his aunt, he says, I called upon the women, can you believe that, to do actual work. And that was just a shocking moment for him. He also believes that women are kept in a society that is separate from the real horrors of what goes on in the Congo. A recurring idea for Marlowe is that women are ignorant of the true horrors of what goes on in the world, whether what goes on in the Congo or what truly goes on in Western society. He seems to think that women live in a modified version of the truth of their own creation. He says in part 2, it is queer how out of touch with the truth women are. However, Conrad, on the other hand, does not necessarily agree with Marlowe's view of women. Conrad uses women as a bit of a symbol for Western society, while Marlowe thinks that women are ignorant of what actually goes on. Women are not, in fact, the ignorant ones. They are kept out of touch with the truth of what really goes on, similar to how the Western world is kept out of touch with the truth of what goes on in the Congo. Conrad uses this juxtaposition of women and Western society to convey his true beliefs through Marlowe's ignorance and confusion that it is not really queer how out of touch women are with the truth. It is queer how out of touch Western society is with the truth of imperialism. When viewed through a lens of gender criticism, Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness portrays gender roles in late 1800s imperialistic society through a lens of power. He juxtaposes the manipulative, more mysterious power of women with the overt and imperialistic power of men, identifying that true ignorance is not the ignorance of society of women, but the ignorance of Western society of the true horrors of imperialism in the Congo.